Alrighty, guys. Good afternoon to you all here. Happy Monday, April 14th, 2025. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. And we do have a pretty active day today for severe weather. I did post my TikTok video not even 30 minutes ago mentioning the possibility of an upgraded enhanced risk, and the Storm Prediction Center did that. So if you do come over from your TikTok to watch here on YouTube today for this video, you'll see the updated version in terms of the new information that we just got. I hate when that happens, but there's nothing I can do without my control there. So just wanted to get that update to you guys out here now. So we're going to talk about that upgraded risk zone here in a second. Also, I want to mention as well, starting today, we are going to be dual live streaming on TikTok and YouTube at the same time. So if you would like to watch here on YouTube to get a better visual, it looks a little bit better here as well. You'll be able to do that. So I'll be live streaming on both. Just be patient with the chats on both sides of things. I'll be managing both chats. So just something to kind of keep updated on that there. But we'll go ahead and dive into this video here, kind of talk about, what we're going to be seeing here this afternoon. Here we can see also a marginal risk zone has been added to eastern portions of South Dakota, southern Minnesota, and northwestern portions of Iowa there. So we'll talk about that here in a second. And then 1, 2, 3 levels there over there on the East Coast and Ohio Valley. You can see a broad area here across the United States. Got some showers and some storms down in the Four Corners there. Some snow up there in northern portions of Vancouver, and then some upper level troughing up here with our snow and upper level system moving through here into portions of the Ohio Valley. So we'll dive into what's ongoing up here this morning across the northern high plains here. We got some showers and some storms. We are expecting a wind and a hail threat today down here in portions of Sioux Falls, Sioux City, north of that here, Interstate 29, Interstate 90 here. Just be mindful. We've got some ongoing convection moving through this morning. This could intensify later this afternoon into some wind here. I think we'll get a little bit of a line segment that's going to move through. But other than that, the timing of this will just be through this afternoon, evening. Not expecting anything too crazy on that. And then we get over here to the East Coast, and this is where things get a little bit more interesting. I did mention that upgraded level 3 enhanced risk. This is going to be a wind-driven enhanced risk, so 30% wind threat today for clusters of storms that could produce winds over 70, maybe 75 miles per hour this afternoon. Just a higher confidence corridor there, getting into Virginia and West Virginia here. But we got a level 1 risk in the green, level 2 risk in the yellow, level 3 enhanced risk there in the orange. Goes up in categories here. So we've got the tornado risk sitting at 2 and 5%. That did not change at all. This is just east of Louisville, Kentucky, up here into portions of Morgantown, Washington, D.C. now in that, or outside of that there, Charlottesville, West Virginia. And then we've got the 5% there in the I-64 corridor into Charleston, Buckhannon, Parkersburg there in Portsmouth. Just be mindful there. Conditional brief weak tornadoes today. Couldn't rule out an isolated stronger tornado, but I just don't think the environment is going to hold to that. Though he could be shocked, though. Hopefully that's not the case, but just something to be very mindful of there. But 2 and 5% within 25-mile radius at a given point. Also the wind, or not the wind, but the hail threat today, 15% in the yellow of 1 to 2 inch diameter hail, and 5% there in the maroon. And then we've also got a wind threat, an upgraded wind threat today. First time we got to see that enhanced risk corridor here on our new software, but that 30% chance of seeing wind up to 70 miles per hour there, 15% there in the yellow, and 5% in the maroon. Looking at those areas today, we're going to be more confined to that I-77 corridor going towards the DC area there. Just something to be mindful of this afternoon and evening if you are driving about. Damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes will be possible for today. So that's what we've got. We'll get to the timing on that here in just a second, but just want to give you guys a broad overview of what we're going to be seeing there. Let's go ahead and talk about what's going to happen as well over the next coming couple of days here. No severe weather expected, at least as of now, for tomorrow. That could change. Also, no severe weather expected for day 3 as of right now, but that also could change. I think there will be a marginal that gets added for day 3 later on this afternoon, somewhere there in the plains. But we get to day 4 and things get a little bit more interesting now. Now, I mentioned in this in the TikTok video, if you watched there, if you haven't watched, you'll find first here on this video today. But we are going to have more severe weather at the end of the week. I think we're going to see Thursday, we're going to see Friday, we're going to see Saturday, and we're going to see Sunday severe weather. Thursday looks to be slight risk level 2 right now from the Storm Prediction Center. This is going to be more of a wind and a hail and an elevated to isolated tornado risk here. Looks to be more wind and hail than anything. Small area here to watch here. We'll have a capped environment on Thursday here. That's basically a temperature inversion aloft in the atmosphere between your dew points and your temperatures. Once those are so far apart, you get a cap, and that basically that lid has to be overcome in the atmosphere to support severe weather. So just something we have to watch for on Thursday there. But I do think that cap will break as we go closer to Thursday afternoon. We'll have to wait till our cam models come into play to be able to see what this will actually look like on pen and paper. But just something to make note of there. Eastern Nebraska, most of Iowa there, northern portions of Missouri, and far western extreme Illinois there under the threat for level 2 out of 5 risk for severe weather. There also will be a marginal risk that gets added somewhere in here once tomorrow's update comes in. As we go into Friday, things get a little bit more interesting. We do have a very, very elongated level 2 out of 5 slight risk for severe weather from northern Texas all the way up into Michigan, southern Wisconsin, western Indiana, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio there. Just something to also be mindful. I think Friday's the peak day out of the week. I think we could also get an enhanced risk somewhere up in this area here as we go into closer into this range happening on Friday. We will go live for this event if need be on Friday. as well. But all modes of severe weather will be possible. We'll talk more about this in terms of once this gets closer to happening and we get more details on this and where we'll be waiting for our cam models. Also, day 6 and day 7, there's not an outlook, but I do expect there to be some type of severe weather on Saturday, and I do expect there to be some type of severe weather on Sunday for the plains, the Ohio Valley, and the Midwest, somewhere in those areas there. And then maybe even going into day 8, day 9, and all of that, we could be seeing more severe weather into next week. It's just going to be a very, very active pattern, guys. So buckle up. If you don't like severe weather, this is the time where you're probably not going to be happy. If you do like to see storms and isolated severe weather and you chase or you cover weather as well, be mindful. It's going to be very active. We're going to be very busy. We're going to have streams every single day. We'll be streaming here live on YouTube and on TikTok going forward as well. So just wanted to give you guys an update on that. Here's kind of a timeline on where we could see our storms at for today. I will switch over here to our other graphics so we can get that pulled up for you guys. Here we go. As I mentioned here, looking at the instability overlapped here with our reflectivity here, just going to kind of give us an idea of both scenarios at the same time. This is sponsored by AguaCeroWX.com. They are our partnership here as well. You guys can use promo code Mesomat in all caps 20 to get 20% off your first month or year with this new website. Very, very excited to continue to use them here as well with what they are doing. Just really exciting things coming in the future. So I'll have that link in my video at the bottom as well once we get done with this if you would like to apply for that. But here we go. Triple HR model run. This is our 15Z that just finished update. You can see some pretty decent instability values at play today. We could be anywhere near 1,500 to 2,000 joules per kilogram of instability. I do think things get a little bit more interesting. We can see some showers and some storms initiating by 1 to 2 o'clock. Outside of that instability access there, just on along our warm front there, just south of Indianapolis into Cincinnati there, wind and hail popping up there. And then we get closer to around 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. And this is where things start to get a little bit more interesting here as we see some pink and purple pockets here. Could be some wind, some hail definitely embedded within there, and then an isolated tornado can't be ruled out with any stronger sails that becomes surface-based. By the time we get towards 6 to 7 p.m., we start to notice kind of a cluster of storms, and this is where that 30% enhanced risk got issued at. Maybe a potential damaging wind event coming through with some winds over 70, 75 miles per hour, but the tornado risk should start to die down by the time the sun sets when we lose that low-level moisture access later on this evening. The wind and hail, isolated tornadoes will all be at play anywhere between 2 o'clock this afternoon and at midnight tonight. Showers and storms still ongoing across Kentucky and Ohio or southern extreme Ohio, West Virginia and Virginia here for any just general thunderstorms. I think the severe risk will be off the coast by the time that gets here. Now we get to tomorrow and we have instability. You can see instability down here in the central and southern plains. It's just typical when you get these troughings that come in. It doesn't mean we're going to get severe weather down here, but there could be a shot at a couple of storms overnight tonight in East Texas. I've been noticing a trend on this just slightly here, so just something to kind of be mindful of. There will be a little bit of instability just north of San Angelo there with some wind and scattered hail, but I don't think we're going to see any severe weather in those areas there. Also want to come up here to the northern mode really quick, just kind of talk about this here. We can see some isolated wind and some hail up here in Minnesota, Iowa, and eastern South Dakota and Nebraska later on this afternoon. Just something to kind of keep minds on as well, but nothing too crazy. Those storms should be pretty much gone and out of here by later on after midnight as well. So we'll be watching 2 different modes today in terms of severe weather. Now, I want to talk long range wise as well and what our long range is going to be showing here, just briefly in a nutshell, and then we'll kind of wrap things up here. But in general here, we're continuing to see troughing. Lots of troughing. Got a low pressure system off the East Coast, low pressure system up here in Minnesota, low pressure system developing off the West Coast here. This is going to allow for just an active jet stream. And when we typically see that, we get severe weather, most times not. So this little trough up here is going to actually intensify through the afternoon, going to give us some stronger wind gradients aloft, middle, and lower levels of the atmosphere. You can see a pretty decent mid-level jet streak here of about 90 to maybe even 100 knots in and around the Ohio Valley here. So that's what's going to help promote that damaging wind threat later on this evening if things can become, mature and become surface-based or even elevated, potentially producing that wind, hail, and tornado risk. That'll be off the coast by Tuesday afternoon. We should see a pretty quiet day on Wednesday. I'm not expecting anything, but by the time Thursday gets here, you see that ridge building to the east. It's going to be a nice and dry pattern here for at least a couple days on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, maybe even Saturday along the southeast here. Continuing to see high pressure build, allowing for temps to warm up, things to dry out. Not so lucky for the northern Ohio Valley there and into Kentucky and the Missouri valleys and into the Boot Hill there. We'll see that trough move in on Thursday and Friday, giving us some winds out of the southwest, potentially transporting moisture here, giving us a threat for severe weather on Thursday and on Friday. And then we watch into Saturday and Sunday. And I've been talking about this troughing that's trying to set up on Saturday night into Sunday morning here, giving us a threat for maybe even a tornado potential here for Easter Sunday. If you're out in Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas on Sunday for Easter, be very mindful the threat for severe weather will definitely exist here. We'll know more details on this in the coming days here, but just something we're watching, a potential negative tilted trough moving in. We'll still see some troughing moving up here. Winds could be 40 to 50 knots in the mid-levels of the atmosphere, giving us enough chance for severe weather on Sunday and Monday across the Ohio Valley and the Boot Hill of Missouri once again. That'll move in on Monday and Tuesday, and then after that, things get a little bit more uncertain, but continuing to see the potential for active patterns moving in. You can see the ridging on the east here, the jet stream moving up here. Winds of 40 to 50 knots can promote kind of single days of severe weather here. Not any widespread severe weather outbreaks, I should say, as of right now, but just something to kind of make note of here. And you can kind of also see on the precip run here where we're going to see those showers and storms at. There's today's event in the Ohio Valley moving out. We'll see more showers and storms maybe on Wednesday and Thursday across Missouri. And then after that, we get our big system coming in on Thursday and Friday here. We could see some more severe weather going into Friday afternoon. And then eventually Saturday and Sunday, things look a little bit more potentially significant on Saturday night into Sunday and Sunday afternoon here. We could see an overnight Saturday event turn into a Sunday event and then move into Monday and Tuesday across the Ohio Valley. And then after that, things, like I said, become a little bit more uncertain. I think Dixie Alley might get going again with some rain and showers and some storms. Here's an idea of instability, just to kind of give us an idea of how much energy is in the atmosphere. Remember, we need instability to create severe weather, basically, in a nutshell. It's basically like storm energy fuel, and we can see that moving in as we go through the afternoon today. And then we look at the next couple of days here. We see that instability return on Thursday. Some pretty decent values popping up here into the Iowa-Nebraska corridor for Thursday's hail and wind threat. I think, like I said, hail and wind will be the biggest threat on Thursday with an isolated tornado risk. And then we get into Friday. We have some pretty decent instability values here on Friday, anywhere from 1,500 to almost 2,500 joules per kilogram, approaching maybe even 3K at some point here. So we're going to have to watch. I think Friday will be a pretty decent day for severe weather. I think an upgraded enhanced risk will be needed eventually at some point if model runs continue for Friday. And then we get into Saturday and Sunday here. And once again, things get a little bit more iffy on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday afternoon showing some instability across Oklahoma and Texas here, enough to support severe weather. And then that will work its way east on Sunday, where we could see more severe weather as far as the Ohio Valley low and severe weather on Monday. And then after that, we get into late next week and things just get really uncertain. But I do think, especially going into next Monday and Tuesday, I think we're going to have a pretty big shot at some type of widespread severe weather late or to early next week to late next week. So about 6 to 7 days out. So this is more of the time period that I'm watching is the 21st through the 29th of April. So we'll keep you guys updated on that situation here. I'll have more in-depth video coverage tomorrow on this as we get more information and more SPC outlooks get updated. I hope you guys have a wonderful Monday. We'll be live here on the channel around 1 to 2 p.m. Central Time this afternoon, covering a couple hours of severe weather on the east and Ohio Valley. But other than that, guys, be safe, be weather aware, and we'll see you guys in the next one.